Hi, welcome to my video. My name is Levon Jihanian. I'm a illustrator, background painter, and cartoonist. And today I'll be painting Garnet from Steven Universe. I rarely do fan art, but I've been wanting to do something that was just for fun, so I decided to paint Garnet, and I might paint some more characters soon. So anyway, here I am starting off, just doing the general overall construction of her head and body. A lot of measuring stuff out. This video is sped up, but I tried to resist jumping into painting too early, and as a matter of fact, I think I do end up painting too early. But first, one of the main things is I like to draw on kind of a gray tone, and that way it's less intimidating than a big white piece of with a big white screen. So I've already started dropping in local colors. These will all be different. All of this painting will be different by the end of the video. But I'm dropping in different variations on that neutral gray. I mean, not that brown color. So adding warm brown, dark browns, cool dark browns. Warm light and dark, warm light and cool light. So warmer meaning like more towards the reds and yellows, and then cooler meaning more towards blue, green. But it's in such a subtle window that it's just varying shades of gray. So I've already started kind of dropping it into the lighting situation that I want to, and even though I drew the eyes in there, they're not going to be in the final picture. I think I was trying to make sure that everything was anatomically placed correctly. This video is kind of moving fast, so bear with me. Yeah, so this is definitely the ugly stage, and that's what painting is kind of like. You paint and paint, and nothing looks right, and then suddenly everything kind of clicks together. So part of doing this painting based on a cartoon character is figuring out where she's going to be in terms of cartoony versus realistic. And I know I kind of wanted to go fairly realistic, but then you run into certain issues. In animation, different features need to be simplified in such a way that they could easily animate it and have it, still have it look good. And also the aesthetic of Steven Universe is pretty graphic. It's a beautiful show, and that's kind of only one of the reasons why I like it so much. So you notice I kind of made some adjustments to the background, and if you look at the layers over there, you'll see that she's painted on her own layer separate from the background. This trick kind of really helps a lot when you want to play around with lighting and effects later on. But I'm trying to keep things on as few layers as possible at this point, just so that I can treat it more like a painting and not so much a digital illustration. It's still digital, but it's gonna feel more like a real painting than if I had plotted things out mechanically. It's just less mechanical, and what's the point of making a picture if you don't get to paint it anyway? So I've begun really kind of getting in there and rendering the forms, polishing things a bit, and at this point I decided to add in a secondary light source. This kind of blue comes from both her right side, and also later on I'll add a second blue light onto her. It's a nice little way of kind of adding color and interest and adding three-dimensional form. Still haven't really figured out what to do with her shoulder pads yet, but I did know I want to make them look like plastic. Yeah, at this point it's a lot of push and pull, trying to figure out, how warm do I want the light to be on her, and just what parts do I want to exaggerate or draw more attention to. I ended up spending a lot of time painting, her nose and lips, which, go figure, are the only parts of her face you can see. So everything else is so much easier compared to painting a face with the complicated skin color changes from cheek to mouth to nose to eyes. Well, the chin, I guess. So in the beginning, I had kind of thought about making. Oh, and you could see the reference for the visor there. I thought that was the weirdest and also coolest and lamest visor I've ever seen. But in the beginning I was toying with the idea of kind of making her visor a little bit transparent, and having her eyes appear a little bit, which is why I painted them at all. But I kind of decided to make her visor kind of opaque. So, I guess I could tell you a joke that I made up. So there's this guy, and he's at a mountain lion sanctuary. Oh wait, let me get back to that. So I just made a Photoshop brush for skin texture, and in the final I don't even know if you could even see it, but it's just kind of a little Photoshop trick to make her skin look more realistic. And that's something that in traditional painting you don't have. And I'm trying to figure out whether I'm going to show a reflection of her hair in the visor. I think in the end I kind of darkened that area, so you can't really tell where the visor ends. So this guy's at a mountain lion sanctuary, and he really has to go to the bathroom. So he goes to the bathroom, and he's sitting in the toilet, and he hears a knock at the door, and he says, it's occupied, I'm busy. And then he hears the knocking again. And he says, I'm in here, just wait. Oh, so you just saw that I'm fixing the mouth, which is goes back to the very beginning of the video where I was drawing it. If this was a traditional painting, that would not be a pleasant thing to repaint, because I'd have to, wait for the paint to dry and do it all over again. But with digital, you could just kind of warp the area and make quick adjustments. Here's and kind of decided that I wanted to show the geometric quality of her hair because I thought it was so interesting. And I was really actually worried about her hair, and I was considering not even tackling the texture or anything, but I'm glad I did. And here I'm kind of dipping my toe in, and before I realize it, I should show the whole side of her hair. And the challenge is to do the texture of her hair without making it look like a carpet. So, there it is. Looked at some Diana Ross pictures for reference, because she had her hair backlit a lot. One cool quality I found about African hair is, especially when it's backlit, it kind of has this glowy quality because the light's kind of scattering. It's really a kind of a fun effect to paint. Yeah. So then figuring out how to paint the shoulder pads. This part I use a lot more of the lasso tool. You'll see. Lasso tool is another cool thing about digital. I've used traditional Frisket once, and it was a nightmare, and I never used it again. And now it looks like I'll never have to use it again, which is great. Thanks, Photoshop. So kind of figuring out, that's where I kind of figured out the shape of those shoulder pads. They're not perfect squares, or, they're kind of hard to pin down in the cartoon. Sometimes they look like diamonds, and sometimes they look more like squares. Or I guess a diamond is a square at an angle. Whatever. Yeah, and that second blue light from the other side really helped to bring a lot of form to the painting. Now here I'm playing around with lighting effects. And trying to just figure out how to kind of bring some of that light onto her chest. So yeah, there's a luxury to only painting her head and shoulders, and that is I didn't have to deal with the chest issue, which in the cartoon Garnet has a oval, like a flattened ball shape for her chest. And so the question is, do I paint it like that, or do I paint breasts? Is she wearing armor, or is she wearing a spandex covering? See, I don't know. So I didn't want to do the wrong thing, so I just left out that decision entirely. So I'm doing some finishing touches here. I'm almost done. And one final thing that I do at the very end, is I decided to make her shirt more of a cooler black. That was the very last thing I did. I should finish the joke. So there's a guy, he's at a lion sanctuary, and he really has to go to the bathroom, so he goes and he locks the door, and he's in the bathroom, and he hears someone bangs on the door. Knock, knock, knock. And he says, "Who's out there?" And no, they don't say anything. So he hears knock, knock, knock again. He's like, who's out there? Why are you knocking on the door? And then someone says, a voice from the other side says, I'm a puma. And the guy says, oh no, not a puma. Wait, pumas can't talk. And then the voice says, no. I'm a puma pants. And that's the joke. Well, thank you for listening and watching my video. I hope you learned something out of it, and I hope it didn't go too fast. But I'm hoping to do more of these. I might do Pearl, who's another character from Steven Universe. And if you haven't seen it, you really should. It's a well-written and well-animated and well-designed show. It's kind of got a little bit of something for everyone. And you could follow me on Twitter at Fork Frenzy. My website is levonjihanian.com. That's LevonJihanian.com. And you could follow my Twitch feed, which this was originally broadcast over Twitch. And that's twitch.tv/LevonJ. That's LEVONJ. Thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to you later, I guess. Bye.